So it's the turn 4 of Leningrad from Decision Games, and we're with the Germans at the start of the turn. They're getting a bit behind schedule here, the Germans, so we need to see if we can quickly deal with the remaining Russians along the Dvina. The aim here will be to look to overrun this unit and break through with the 56th Mechanised Corps, see if we can get a move on down this road. If I can do that, then I can free up and surround these, finish these off. I need to sort out this troublesome division at the back here, but I think now I've got these free, we can move up, surround him and finish that off. And I think here I really need just to slog my way across the river. So that's the plan. I'll move the units and we'll come back and see. But before I do the rest of the movement, the overrun is going to be key. So let's just play that one through. So this corps will go 1, then it's 2 because he's going along the road. Be 3, 4, 5, and I want to be sure of this, so I'm going to bring in my Stukas to attack here, and probably just as well. So that's 29 to 4, 7 to 1. The armour and the core bonus cancel out the negatives just for the overrun, so make it an 8 to 1. We roll a 3, which is back 2. So I need to think carefully here for the Russians, because I don't want to give the Germans too much free movement in following me up, and I don't really mind him getting caught up in the woods, so I'm going to go 1, 2 to there. They have to follow up at least 1 as it's an overrun. But I don't think we'll go any further on that advance after combat. So let me just remember, it was 1, 2 to there, 3, 4, 5. So he's got 3 left. So he'll go 6, 7 to allow us to burst through there. Right, I'll now just pause the video and allow me to move all the rest. So that's the end of the German movement. We've got these two completely surrounded, so we should be able to finish them off. This guy was important because if I hadn't moved him up here, there was a potential for this to move down, move through here, and then its zones of control would be cutting the road here. This could have lent it this be cut off, so you've got to be careful, but he'll now get stuck and he's not going to get any decent attack on that this time round. We've surrounded this guy. It's 6 divisions to 6 defence, so that'll be a 6 to 1. The minimum odds you need to ensure that there can't be any attacker effect is 7 to 1. So actually we've got 1 division extra here. You can't retreat, so if you're attacking outsupplied, one of the tactics is make sure you can get at least a 5 to 1, which we bumped up to 7 to 1, and finish him off. And then these two really need to stay where they are. We're going to make some assaults over the river here just to get this front moving as well. So that's the end of the movement. I'll come back once I've calculated the odds for the combat. Right, let's take them in order. So up here we've got a full Mechanised Corps against a 4 strength division. That is 29 to 4, 7 to 1. I bumped up to a 9 to 1 because of the armour and the core bonus. 6 is defender eliminated. Here it was only a 2 strength unit. We've got 40 attacking to it, it's 20 to 1. It's actually -1, 19 to 1, but up 2 because there's out of supply, so 21 to 1. It's 10 to 1, but he can't retreat, so automatic elimination there. And this one starts off as a 36 to 2, 18 to 1, same as before, up to a 20 to 1 because out of supply. One thing just to mention, although he's attacking over the river, as long as he isn't, then that removes that. So another automatic elimination there. Now, actually I should have advanced after combat there, and I won't advance here because, oh dear me, what am I doing? I want them to stay out of the woods, but I'll use that as a way of getting across the river. Again here, 36 to 6, 6 to 1, out of supply, 8 to 1, minimum result of a 1 retreat, which means he has to be eliminated. So, well, off he goes there. And I won't advance, and actually no, I will advance into there. Then we've got these 2 attacks over the river. So this one is very promising, only a 3, 29 to 3 is a 9 to 1, down to an 8 to 1 because of the river, but our full core gets the armour and the core bonus bumps up to a 10 to 1. So 3 is eliminated and he gets across the river. And that's important in terms of the ordering because he's now out of supply. So this was 21 to 3, 7 to 1, but he's in a city and it's across the river, which is 2 negative shifts down to a 5 to 1, but he's now out of supply. So that's back up to a 7 to 1, which is a 1 retreat. He can't retreat, so off he goes, and a very successful round of attacks, albeit most of those were pretty foregone conclusions for the Germans. So that's the end of the German combat phase. I've used my air unit, so again no air interdiction. We'll be on to the Soviets next. So now the Russian phase of turn 4, and we start with the fortification phase. 2 more forts to place. So again we're going to aim to block the roads into Leningrad there. We're a bit thin on the ground though, and that was a very successful series of attacks from the Germans, so we are going to have to really look to where we can hold them up next. The obvious place down here is around Pskov. One thing I hadn't mentioned before, the pinkish cities are special Soviet cities. They have give the Soviet defenders an extra bonus, and particularly unhelpful to the Germans if they're actually in them defending. They lose their armour bonus and they lose their core bonus if defending in those cities. So seems like a good place to be holding things up. So we'll definitely move on there. We have replacements or reinforcements coming on, which start here. So the armour is going to go and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and I think stop there in the woods where it can be join up with the infantry to form our next roadblock there. We will move these divisions to here to block things off if they want to try and go around us. They'll get caught up in these or have to slog through this. I think, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, we've got a turn to see how those various battles go, to see which way those are going to move. I could have brought the reinforcements on down here, but it's too early. So from For the next few turns I've got an option of coming in here as well as in the usual hexes to the east here. The final move is this guy now. Because this is moved up, he is now out of supply. He can, it takes 5 movement points to trace to a road. Well, it's 2, 3, 5, just moving those 2 hexes there. So he's out, but he can still move 3, and so he can still be a nuisance. So he's going to move into there, which actually cuts this road here, and it's not a problem for this one at the moment. He can move around, but it also will slow him down in terms of moving out. It won't last long, but it's a start. So that's the end of that. No combat to speak of for the Soviets. End of turn 4. Turn 5 of Leningrad from Decision Games. The Germans need to move fast here before the Russians can start building their defences up by Leningrad. So it's going to be an all-out attack on both these positions, or as all-out as I can make it. First up is we're going to have to move these here, move some units up to finish off there so I don't get caught out of supply, and then get as much of an attack going around here. Involve moving these up, and try and split their infantry roughly 50-50. Typically you need the more powerful infantry up this way because you're only going to get a few hexes to attack. It's a sort of narrower front. You get a little bit more room to manoeuvre down here, so you can get more corps on here. But I think at the moment, because I've got this all the way down, it needs to be involved in the attack around Pskov. So that's going to be the aim. Still no replacements, so straight on to movement, and I'll back in a minute once I've finished that. So that's the end of German movement. We've managed to get the 41st Mechanised Corps around the back here by coming through the swamp, exploiting the fact they can move along the roads and through the swamps, and 2 other stacks. So not quite cut it off because he can retreat through the city, that unit, negating the zones of control, but that should give us a good attack there and be ready for the assault on Pskov next. Up here we're going to make an attack on this unit, see if we can force the Shroud further, and we've got these corps moved up to take this one. This division's around the back just to make sure we've got them fully encircled and can finish things off. So that's a movement. We'll have 3 attacks coming up, so let's look at the odds for those. Right, let's start at the northernmost attack. Some strong defenders here. There's 8, so I've got a 29-8 to start off with, 3-1. They get 2 negative shifts because of the armour and because of the woods, which would take it down to 1-1. I don't get my armour because I'm attacking into woods, but I get my core bonus and I get my air, so back up to 3-1. This could be interesting. 3-1 is a 3, that's 1 retreat each. The Soviet unit will retreat to there. I think I'm not going to risk my armour at this stage, so I just retreat as well. So at least I know what I'm up against. Here we've got 36-4 and 9-1, but it's up to 11-1 because it's out of supply. So that's no need to, it's going to be at least a retreat. He's finished, and I'll advance him in. Here we've got, unfortunately, only a 3 and a 2, so that's 5. So I've got 66 in total here to 5, which is a 13-1. They get shifts for the marsh and for the armour, but there's the core bonus and we can ignore the river because he's attacking this side. So 12-1, 10-1. So anything bar a 1 will eliminate these. It's a 4. So they're eliminated. And we'll get this one across because I want to move the more powerful infantry up. So again, end of the German attack, no air interdiction, on to the Soviets. So the Soviet turn, things, actually I should move this across a little bit, this is more the Soviet side of the map now. Things are moving quickly through the turns because there's not many units to play with here. We get 2 more forts, so we're going to thicken up the defences on both these lines of attack, and then on to movement. Well, this division is going to heroically hold out Pskov and see how long we can last there. Not very, I don't think. We've got 2 more infantry divisions coming on, but we also have an armour division. And one of the things I haven't mentioned is you don't have to bring your reinforcements on the turn that they're slated for. You have to actually on the very first turn if they're Russians, but every other you can actually hold them back. So I'm going to hold this back. Doesn't necessarily mean it has to come on here, but one of the threats to the German advance is to be able to move in here and try and cut these off. So I'm going to try and hold these back and see if I can get a little bit of forces up for an offensive at that point. Over the top here, these are going to move into the marsh. It's a good blocking hex. They're not going to be able to get past me because of zones of control, and then I can retreat onto here. So just slowly move things forward. The 2 divisions that I've built up will continue down the road. I think I'm going to spread them out, so I don't want to risk losing them both in the same attack, as this is going to be marauding up here later, and this will continue on. Our factory over here of infantry divisions is feeding them onto there, probably going to go onto those forts, or maybe these, depending on who moves quicker. So that's the end of the Russian turn. Very nice and quick. German turn 6 coming up next.